Welcome everyone to Taste Different Game Reviews. And tonight, we're reviewing Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones is an action-adventure game developed and published by Ubisoft. It was developed by Ubisoft Singapore, released on February 16, 2024. Released for pretty much everything except for the Switch. And when I say everything, I mean everything. It's on Amazon Luna. It's on Windows. It's on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and was originally going to come out on Stadia. So that's how long this has been in development. Stadia has been gone. This game was in development since 2013, 11 years. So I'll kind of let the team go before I do on how they feel about Skull and Bones, this game that was designed, then redesigned, and then redesigned again, and then, I don't know, maybe a fourth or fifth time for good measure. So we'll see how everybody feels about Skull and Bones, a new Ubisoft IP. Shane, how do you feel about being a butt pirate?
Well, after playing this game, it felt like a butt pirate. What a piece of shit. I don't like to start off with profanity. Because, you guys know me. I don't use that kind of language very often. But what a piece of shit. This game is awful. It is a cash grab turd. Assassin's Creed Black Flag was a better pirate game. This game was touted by Ubisoft as a quadruple A. That's the shape of your anus after they got done screwing you over. This game's terrible. It is just awful. It makes me sad for Pat because he has been dying to play this thing. He was a big, had a big hope and all that for it. And for that, I had hope for it because Pat ain't going to just fall in love with something this shitty, but I was wrong. He fell in love with, he got catfished is what it was. He thought he was going to get a good pirate game. No, he got, I'm a boat. I'm just a boat game. The worst part about the game is you're supposed to be pirates, but you don't really do any pirating except for the boat combat. That's it. You don't get to hunt treasure chests and loot islands and things like that. You get to be a boat while your crew goes and does things. But you're just a boat, so you don't really get to do anything. The biggest compliment I have for this game, though, is the boat combat. I thought the boat combat worked really well. Overall, I think the boat controls worked really well. It is very much based on the wind. So depending on the wind, you're going fast or you're going slow. You go against the wind or you can, use the wind to kind of help get you there. I think Sea of Thieves has done a bit better job on that aspect, but I think Skull and Bones has a better combat setup, personally. I don't want to piss on this game too much because I'm sure there's people out there that love it. And I feel bad for them, but it's not a me game because to me, it was a whole lot of hoopla and it turned out to be just crap. I'm trying not to be too negative because I'm not a negative person. All right. I am a very negative person. This game does suck though. It is not worth the $70. It is not, it's not a good live service game. Suicide Squad to me was a better live service game. Putting that out there. But that's just my opinion. Nick, do you feel like you're in the same ballpark I am, or is it just me that thinks it's a piece of crap?
I'm rowing in the same boat as you are. I might be further up ahead though, so I might be closer to the front of your boat, but I'm on the same boat. So, I think primarily this was, for me, I'm mostly disappointed in most of the aspects of this game. like Shane, I do enjoy the combat. I think the boat on boat action, and that's not a porn reference or anything. The boat on boat action, the naval combat, I think is really good. I think customizing your boat with the different artillery loadouts and stuff like that is a lot of fun. And one of the things I enjoyed as well with this game was playing co-op with these guys. I thought that was a lot of fun, which that's not really giving Skull and Bones like good marks, because there's a lot of games that we play co-op, and even if the game's like super, super bad, we still find it fun just playing together. But it was fun to play together. I think I enjoyed most of my time playing together than when I did play by myself. I did play it by myself a few times, and I played for a little while, but the experience of playing with my friends was a lot more enjoyable than by myself. I feel this game, I would agree with Shane in the sense of like, if we want to compare it to Sea of Thieves and Skull and Bones, which they're totally opposite games, right? I think for me, I was disappointed because I was really hoping that this was going to be like Sea of Thieves, but on steroids, right? And it's really not. Like Sea of Thieves, for me, and this is my personal opinion, it makes me feel more like a pirate, where this game doesn't. I don't feel like a pirate. I feel like the boat, which is what you play majority of the time as, right? You are the boat, you customize your boat, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, it kind of classifies itself, at least we thought, as a pirate game. Yes, you are a pirate in a sense, but you're not doing a lot of pirating. Like Shane was saying, you can plunder outposts, you can dig up treasure, but it's kind of, non exciting to do that. They do have this one thing that disappoints me too, is they have on foot exploration, but I feel like the game, either Ubisoft needs to do something more with that or just take it out of the game completely, because it really has zero usage besides wanting to load you between you being on the boat and being on the land, because there is no on foot combat. There really is no exploration. You do have, when you land on there is a little bit of stuff that you can go around and do, but the island is so small, and there's really nothing there besides maybe talk to a merchant or collect a side quest or collect a coconut, or whatever the case may be. Look at your inventory and stuff like that. But it has no other functionality besides that. And that's really, I feel like that's missed opportunity to do something with it. Either do something with it or just strip it out of the game completely. And I feel like the plundering too, you can plunder settlements, which is a good way to get a lot of resources. But again, you're sending your crew to go do that, and you just sit on a boat and shoot boats as they come. And that's kind of like, it's cool after the first few, but then after a while, you're kind of like, is there anything else going to happen here? Or am I just waiting for boats to, sail themselves into the port and me just blow them to smithereens and wait for more boats to come while a status bar goes up for my plundering status, right? I don't know. I just feel like there was a lot of missed opportunity with this game to really do some cool stuff. I felt like, and it may be just with Ubisoft's changing direction all the time with this game. They did change direction several times with this game. We know that. That's been duly noted. And I feel like even in the end, Ubisoft still wasn't quite sure what direction they wanted to take this game. They do have something of a foundation here. Like I said, I think the naval combat's really good, right? The boat on boat combat is a lot of fun. Customizing your ship with the different artilleries, trying to, I enjoyed building new cannons and stuff to put on my ship. And then be like, okay, cool, I'm going to get on my boat and check this out. I want to see how much damage this does. That was a lot of fun, right? But I feel like take that piece away and say, this part's good. And then everything else is kind of like, I can take it or leave it, right? Everything else is just kind of not that great to me. And it's unfortunate. So, yeah, I mean, I think for me personally, this game is just disappointing. I was hoping for more than what it is. They do have a season pass or season roadmap, which they're going to introduce like new, quests and things like that. And I feel like this game needs it. The thing that's wrong with live service games, and this is a live service. We've talked about this before, and the same thing with Suicide Squad. I think Suicide Squad. I mean, I would say I would agree with Shane. I think it's a better game, but it's a totally different game, right? So as far as live service goes, but I can tell you right now, I don't see, me personally, I don't see Skull and Bones or Suicide Squad retaining players long enough for it to exist beyond a certain point, right? Right now, because live service is just a saturated market and it's hard to get a footing in that market. Right now, the game that's got its foot in the door and up everybody's asses is Helldivers 2, right? I mean, that game is like pouring in. That's a live service game as well, and it's pouring in the players. So that's taking over, and that game is so popular right now at the moment that you're not going to pull people away to play Skull and Bones or Suicide Squad. But again, you saturate the market with all this. And it's one of those things with live service games is the lucky one gets through, right? And everything else falls behind. So in this case, like 3 live service games came out in a row pretty much. Suicide Squad, Skull and Bones, and Helldivers. There might have been more than that, and just ones I can't remember. But the only one that survived so far is Helldivers. The other 2 are still active, but I just don't see them being active for an extended period of time, maybe a year, and then I don't know if they'll retain their player base, right? I just don't know. Depends on how much content they bring out, right? Even Helldivers could not if they don't pour the content in. That's the thing, is you got to get content out, and you got to get it out quick. Otherwise, you won't keep your players, regardless. Even if your game is good, like Helldivers, you won't retain your players, right? Got to get that content out there, because Suicide Squad's already in the dust, right? And I don't even think Joker content's out yet for it. So I mean, they're already gone, right? No one's talking about Suicide Squad anymore. I don't think I've even read or heard anything about it since it came out. That game is dead DOA. It's dead on arrival. And Skull and Bones might follow suit, right? We'll have to see what happens, but I don't know. Pat, buddy, Skull and Bones, you've been waiting 11 years.
It's an awesome game. I love it. I've been playing it every night since it came out. I can't help that my friends suck and they're not good pirates, so I can't help that. But it is fun. I'm enjoying it. And the thing is that Shane doesn't play live service games, so you could throw away his opinion right out the window. He doesn't play live service games.
No, but I play games.
But you don't play any live service games. You don't. That's just the truth of the matter. Even the most popular one out there, we can barely get you to play, and that's and that's
what, Helldivers?
The Bungie one. No, Bungie.
Oh,
the Bungie one.
Destiny.
You don't even play Destiny. That's the most popular one out there if you consider live service. I mean, I will admit I don't play things. I don't like Battle Royale, so my opinion on those games you can throw away, because I don't. I'll say they're all bad because I've not found a good one that I like. But you guys like other ones out there that I just can't get into. But I think it's fun. This game reminds me a lot of my favorite games that I've ever played, which is like Earth and Beyond and EVE Online, because you are the ship. And essentially that's what you are. You're the ship. And that's what I want more than the whole land stuff. They could take the land stuff and throw it out the window, really. I do like some of the aspects of the game. I like the ship combat. It's probably the best part of the game. Like these guys said, it is the best part of the game, and it's fun to run with your friends. Running solo kind of sucks because it takes a long time to kill ships, but it's doable. Each server can hold like 20 players, so there's 20 players in a map at a time. What I don't like is some of the in-game stuff. So the in-game stuff, once you've completed all the main storyline quests, opens up into a lot of helm activities. So you got to get the currency. So there's 4 currencies in this game. There are silver and gold is pieces of 8. And there's a premium currency that you buy. And then there's a super like duper currency called sovereigns that you get as in-game currency. Pieces of 8 and sovereigns are both in-game currency. And it takes thousands of pieces of 8 to buy sovereigns or to earn sovereigns. And those are the season tokens. What I don't like is what I'm hearing about the season. So to make pieces of 8 in the end game, you have to go get material. There's 2 ways to earn sovereigns, really. or I guess there's multiple, but so you basically go out and you make purchases or kill enemies to get material to make drugs or booze. Really, that's what it ends up being. And then you run those drugs and booze in orders, and you get sovereigns for them. The other way you get sovereigns is you take over areas or rackets, if you will. That's essentially what it is. You take over an area. PvP is how you take over areas. So that chaps my ass a little bit. Because, you know, I've got only 6 territories and there are tons of territories. And you spend pieces of 8 to level those territories up. And the higher you level them up, the more pieces of 8 they make, but also the more silver it takes to keep them going, and the more materials to make alcohol and drugs to get them going. The beginning level stuff is like opium and I can't remember, gin. It might be gin. So it's like that stuff. But it's one of the alcohols that you can make early on. And then so you make alcohol and you make opium, and then you run them to orders, or you farm them out to your brackets and say, I want to fund a 5,000 silver and this much alcohol to this thing. And it will fence it. Basically, they will fence it and return you pieces of 8. But it takes time. The higher the level of the territory you take over, the more it can hold, and the longer, the more money you have to spend, and the more resource you have to spend, but the longer it takes to generate. So there's a trade-off. But from everything I read, everybody's like, level every territory up to 7, and then it will generate pieces of 8 faster than you need in like a swath of an area. But I think I read somewhere that it takes like 10,000 pieces of 8 to get like 350 sovereigns. So it's a lot. So the end game is that type of a grind. But like I said, to take over these territories in the Helm is PvP. Like it's a 4-player PvP thing. Now, luckily for me, I've joined in most of them and nobody's there, because there's 20 people on a server. Those other 19 people might be still leveling. They might be, you know, once the game progresses, it'll probably get a little more of a dogfight, and all this. But the thing that I'm pretty sure is going to happen at the end of every season, it all resets. So you capture all these territories and then it resets at the end of a season, and that will just piss me off because I don't like PvP. So that's probably the thing that will kill this game for me, is the PvP. Right now, I've got plenty of co-op stuff that I'm doing on my own, like attacking caravans or going after legendary pirates and stuff like that. But I'm finding that to be pretty fun because I have a goal in mind. The problem is I have a goal in mind of material I want to get for my ship, but then I need to spend those pieces of 8 to also level up my rackets. And it costs like a minimum of like 100 for level 1 to go to the next one, and then so on and so forth. So it's more and more and more. So you got to spend those monies to upgrade your rackets. And, you know, and now it's like, well, I need 1,500 to buy the next gun level for my ship, you know, so I can build 4 more of a certain gun type. So, you know, it costs, the higher end game stuff is pieces of 8 and eventually sovereigns. But they have promised like 4 seasons. I think we saw season 1 has content. Season 2 will come out with new ships, and season 3 will have new ships, and 4. And seasons are going to be about 90 days from what I could tell, because it's like counting down already from 89 today when I was in there. I wonder what will happen at the end of 90 days. If I have to retake over all the territory, redo certain things, I'll probably be like, nah, I'm out. Instead of just gangbustering the new content, I'll probably be out, because I don't want a PvP, because by that time when season 2 drops and season 1 ends, there'll be plenty of players out there who are max level doing the same thing I am, and you're going to be fighting for territory. Because what I understand, once you capture the territory, it's not taken away from you. That just the area becomes vulnerable for other people to take, you know, because that's what happens. Like, not everything is available right when you pop in. Like, all the area around St. Anne is available. And if you want to unlock the East Indies, it's like 1,000 sovereigns. If you want to update the west part of the map, it's another 1,000 sovereigns. And then you can start taking over territories in there. So, but the problem is so if you want to collect your pieces of 8, once either you decide you want to do a collection run, or those places have filled up their coffers with pieces of 8, you have to physically sail there, because they're not like landing ports. So you sail there, you grab your piece of 8, and they remain in your cargo hold until you land back at the other place. I land at a place. And so the whole time you're being attacked by rogues and things like that. Same thing with like when you're drug running or alcohol running, is you're being attacked by other ships. They're chasing you down to get your loot, essentially, which is fine. I don't have any problem running from them. It's just a lot of running and things like that. Instead of just what I want to do is fighting. But if you fight them, you take a chance of losing like 300, 500, or 1,000 pieces of 8 on you. You're like, I don't want to lose that. I don't want to get sunk and lose all my pieces of 8. So, so that part might, and then not having friends in the game will probably kill it quicker for me than that. But I am really enjoying it because it just reminds me of those type of games that are in my wheelhouse. I will admit and our co-op game is probably going to be Helldivers because that's the one everybody seems to enjoy. But I have been playing this game pretty much every night since its release, just leveling up and getting to the end game. I'm locked out of some of the end game stuff because I haven't completed the story because I was waiting on these guys to finish it up. But I don't know if they're going to come back, so I'll probably just end up finishing it on my own so I can get to the last pieces of the helm that I need to start seeing the season. Because the season either started or it's a bug in the game because it says that I now have 89 days left in the season. So, so I don't know. So because I can't see the season activities or journey until I finish that last storyline quest. So I just haven't done that yet. We're pretty close. I think 3 or 4 quests away from the end or whatever. So, but yeah, I think it's fun. The content is pretty limited right now. So, and lots of bugs. The game is full of bugs. Always, there's the whole interactive bug where if you're, like me, I'm impatient. When I go to talk to somebody, I hit like the Y button like 2 or 3 times. And I'm like, I think there's too much of an input delay in this game. Like when I go to talk to somebody, it seems like when I push Y, they don't talk, right? And if I double tap Y, I put myself into an interactive bug. And then when I stop talking to them, I can't do anything. I can't board my ship. I can't do anything. And you got to go back and talk to them and pull yourself back out. But you got to remember who you talk to, because sometimes I get into doing something. I'm like, oh, who would I last talk to? So there's all kinds of bugs in there with things like that. I ran into a lot of latency bugs not too long ago where it would rubber band me. I'd be pretty far, and then I would just see my ship stop and then slide back. And I'm like, no. You can't have that in a combat-based game. But, we'll see. I'm still enjoying it and still playing it. There's still a lot to do. Like, it's not like when I get on, I'm like, what am I going to do? It's like, oh, I need to go check my helm, make sure I've got all my rackets making stuff. And then it's like, I ran out of silver and I was like, okay, now I got to figure out how to make a shit ton of silver because you need a lot of silver. Like, I fill up all my coffers and I probably spent 40,000 silver. And I'm like, I got to go earn more silver, or else I can't have my rackets making pieces of 8. And then you're going to need thousands and thousands of that. So you're going to have to figure out, there's got to be a silver grind somewhere out there that I just haven't looked up yet, or how to grind silver to make silver like quick. So I find it fun, but these guys don't. So it'll be a game I play when they're not around. But right now we have a plethora of co-op games, right? Nightingale just came out, and all these other games. Helldivers is probably going to be the main rotational one for us if we decide we want to play.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, I really did want to like this more, especially for you, Pat, because knowing that you love it so much, I feel bad not enjoying it.
Yeah,
but it's not my fault. It's Ubisoft. So way to go, Ubisoft! You damn near killed a friendship, you bastards.
I did not have. As soon as I heard that it was going to be a live service, I'm like, oh, Shane's out. I pretty much said that to myself. I'm like, hey, he's out. It's not for Shane.
Well, it's the live service thing that bothers me is the way they set the games up. It's like the original Nintendo games. Like, think of the original Ninja Turtle. It was designed to be over hard to keep you playing longer. These live service games are designed to drag you back every 3 months, give or take. I want a fleshed out game. And to me, if you want to make a live service game, that's fine. Give me a fleshed out game. Then give me a fleshed out season 2 that doesn't do all the BS that you had just described. That's my thing with live service games. Helldivers 2 is a fantastic game, even if it is live service. The biggest problem I have is it does do the whole it takes you forever to unlock things unless you pay a little something. And then then that's the
You
part of the
cannot
game.
buy medals in that game.
There's no pay to win in that game. You can buy premium currency.
Not yet.
Premium currency. That's
premium
what I was
currency just
to.
gives you another place to stick your medals. You don't get extra medals, so it
can't
slows
buy
you
medals.
down. It will slow you down.
Yeah,
but
so
that's
I don't
different
like
than
that.
That's different than most live service games, right? Because if you think of a live service game like Diablo, the new Diablo is a live service game. This is a live service game. I don't like live service games that erase my progress. Like Destiny doesn't really do that, right? It's like, okay, I got a new area, new gear to get, and new progression to make. But Diablo's like, I'm going to wipe out your map progression. This one's like, I'm going to wipe out your racketing progression, what Skull and Bones does. But like Helldivers, I don't think they're going to reset your stratagems. All they're going to do is have a new tier of armor to go down to spend your medals on and such, you know? So that's a different, and that's a live service game done right. I don't like what Ubisoft has done, and I don't like what, see, and I don't even know what, I didn't spend enough time on Suicide Squad to figure out what their live service market was besides just costumes, right? You know, that's, and then killing the same boss 18 times or how many damn times you got to kill the boss, you know, outside of that. And I was like, that sounds very boring. You know, but yeah.
I mean, it's the problem with those is whenever they make a live service, then they build a game around it. Right. And that's when those types of games, they fail. It's when you make a game and then you decide, okay, let's put some live service on it. And those usually are, you know, you already have, like Helldivers 2 feels like to me that they created this really cool game with a cool concept that then they're like, you know, whoever, you know, Sony or whatever, you know, because they're pushing for live service crap. We're like, make it live service. And they're just like, okay, let's just tack something on there. Like you got this whole medal system that, you know, whatever, we'll rotate stuff out of it. And that was essentially it, right? I mean, they might have had live service in mind, but they didn't build the game. It didn't feel like they built the game around that aspect. It was just kind of like a tacked on thing. And that's fine. I don't like live service games in general, but I mean, like, that's fine if you want to do something like that, because then I feel like I'm getting the most out of my game. But when you make the game, when you gatekeep every little thing, you know, or put so much of a time sink into every little aspect of the game because you want them to spend more time and buy stuff from the cash shop and various things like that, and you're pointing me towards buying money. You know, Diablo is bad about that, like you were saying, with recycling your map progress, and every season's worse than the last, it feels like. It's like, come on. These live services are killing our favorite games in our franchises and stuff. Like, you know, I feel bad for Rocksteady because I know Suicide Squad, which we liked, it ain't going to keep the player base. Like, I think last time I checked Steam charts, there was a 2,000 people all 24-hour peak. I think on that, and there was like maybe 2,000 people on there at the moment that I checked it. That was a few days or a week ago or so. So it has very, very few people playing it, at least on Steam. Like, I don't know about console, but you know.
Yeah. So and so what I will probably do with Skull and Bones is I will give it a season, see how it plays out. If they reset my progress, so I lose the ability to generate and to restart the engine generation of Pieces of 8, I'm probably going to be out, because I really want to see, because they only have 10 ships right now, right? They have the Dow ship that you start with, which is a dinghy that, you know, and you use it in certain aspects of the game still, even at end game. And then they have like 4 small ships and then 4 medium ships and no large ships. So I'm assuming that's what's in season 2 is the larger ships. You know, so, and I played around with all but one of the medium ships. I built every one of them except for one. And it's just because I found one that I really liked. I'm running around with the brigantine ship or whatever it is. And I found that it's pretty quick and I like the weapon loadout on it, but that's what I like doing in there. I've tried a bunch of different weapon loadouts and I'm like, I like this one to do this, and this one for that, and this one for this. You know, and with all the booze running and the running around collecting all the Pieces of 8, the brigantine ship just seems quicker and more survivable. So I could technically outrun most ships, and that's what I've just been doing with the booze runs. I just outrun them to the place I got to go, and any of them that are still following me when I get to the place where I got to drop off the booze, I just take them out, and then I land ashore. So I'll give it one season. But the PvP aspect is already driving me nuts because most of the events in the game are PvP. Like I said, hostile takeovers, which is how you get territory, is PvP. There's the legendary pirate thing, which is PvP. And then there's only like a few co-op events out there. It's mostly like attacking a merchant convoy or elite pirate battles. Those are the things that are co-op out there right now. And there's not a whole lot. Like I said, it's still new, and people probably haven't reached the end game because we ran a lot of it over the weekend. So, and that's why I'm progressed past that. I have a level 10 ship, and I think you can put enough gear on it to get level 12. You know, but I need pieces of 8 so I can buy the upgraded cannons and stuff like that to make it a higher. And then I need to find a couple of more furniture pieces that I need to make my weapons hit a little harder. But those all come from spending pieces of 8. So so I don't know. I'm enjoying it right now.
So. But that's good. I mean, it's, my opinion, like Pat said, I'm not a live service guy, but I do like games. There's certain live service games I can play. There's some that I really enjoy. Helldivers 2 I really enjoy. Apex Legends I can play. Fortnite I couldn't give 2 squirts about. So that's why there's 3 of us, 3 different opinions. I honestly am surprised Pat enjoyed this as much as he did, which I'm very thankful for, because this is just something he has been nonstop on. I mean, I make a lot of Final Fantasy VIII remake jokes. He's been dying for this goddamn game to come out for so long, for so many years. So I'm happy he enjoys it.
Yeah. So like I said, it's not for everybody, right? Live service. And yeah, you guys liked Apex Legend. I've tried to play a couple times with you, but it's just not my game. But I'll play with these guys. That's what we typically do. Every now and then they'll be like, hey, the new Call of Duty's out or whatever. And I'm like, oh God. But I'll still hop in because I want to play with them. And it is enjoyable as a group, right? We played, I don't remember what the hell the name of that game was recently. And I absolutely hated that damn game where it was just so difficult. But we all just got in a tank and drove around in a tank all night, And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is kind of fun, Shane Dry.
Yeah, I was at, what was that game?
Hell Let Loose.
Yeah, that game was so hard, but yeah, it was so fun because when we finally got that tank, we just spent the whole night. Yeah. We spent the whole night just roaming around in the tank shooting. We were doing pretty good, I think.
Yeah, everything and anything. At one point. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. Good guys, bad guys, they all dies.
But I don't enjoy I will never play those games by myself. You'll never catch me in Apex Legends without them. You'll never catch me in Modern Warfare without them, or any Call of Duty game. But it is, everybody has their favorite games, and we'll play pretty much anything co-op with each other. Like, Shane's not been too much into this game, but Nick and I had gotten to like level 8 or 9 ships, and we popped Shane around in his level 2 ship one night. We're like, hey, you want to play? And he takes us around in his little tiny ship, and we're in the bigger ship. So that's how it goes. It's all fun though. So you guys got anything else on this one before we wrap it up so Shane could go plunder some more booty?
No, honestly, I'm going to go plunder some NyQuil.
All right. Well, let us know what you think. Are you playing Skull and Bones? Have you got Skull and Bones? You plan on playing it? What do you think of the end game content that they've got, and then the seasons? They call this a quadruple A game. I don't know what makes it quadruple A. Was it the 11 years in development or the $70 price tag? Because this is, as much as I love it, it's not a $70 game, because live service game has premium currency is where they make their money in the track. And what Ubisoft here has basically done is double dipped. They're like, we're going to get that $70 and we want you to buy our currency. So I will not buy your currency through the season, because in my opinion, you should have had a $30 or $40 game. And then I would have probably, if I was enjoying the game in the season, I would have bought your $10 pass. And then that's what you do. Your pass $10. I wouldn't put it past Ubisoft to make their pass $20 when it comes out, their season pass. But I don't know. Maybe the first 4, I'd read something about the first 4 were going to be like no cost. So maybe that's where the $70 makes up for it. But we'll see. I don't know yet. I've not seen, all I've seen is a picture of the roadmap. I've not seen actual descriptions of the roadmap. So let us know what you think down in the comments. Are you liking it? Do you hate it? Are you like, ew, it's Ubisoft, or ew, it's pirates, or this game is horrible? Let us know down in the comments. And you're at the end. If you're not subscribed, why not? Hit that button, help us out. More subscribers, the better. It means that we can keep doing this, putting out videos of us three guys talking about random game crap. All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode and hope to catch you in the next one.
See ya.